Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you about the three articles that we had to read. The first one that I'm going to talk about is why there is no science in your salary. I found this one very interesting because it's actually very similar to what happened where I work. Up until just a couple of years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of rhyme or reason as to how they determine someone's pay. About the only consistency there was when we were given cost of living increase or and when we were given a merit raise. And like the article mentioned, how someone would leave and they would hire someone in at what that person was making. That actually happened quite a few times where I work. Um, Now they have actually set up, like GoDaddy, they've set up a pay scale or a step program, as some people call it, to where they have beginning wages for different positions and they have different rankings of positions, and each one of those has a minimum and a maximum salary pay on there, which has helped with the when someone leaves that has been there for say 20 years and what their pay is, and then someone coming in having never worked there before getting that same pay. The second article is tailoring the benefit mix to engage millennials. They talked a lot about how millennials want visibility and buy-in to the mission and vision of the organization. They talked about how they want flexibility with their work, whether that's like bringing your dog to work, working from home, flexibility on hours. It did also talk about how they have the stress of financial burden, which to me wasn't too surprising since they are supposed to be the generation that has the most debt. But it also talked about wanting financial stability and worrying about things like retirement. A lot of what the article talked about, I don't think it's just millennials. I think that's just people in the workforce in general, where they would like to be able either to work from home a few days a week or work flex time, as we call it at work, where they can kind of manipulate the hours that they work. And we all have the financial stress, and we all worry about retirement and making sure we're taken care of thereafter and after we decide to quit working. The third article is minding employee behavior off the clock and off the premises. I actually agreed with a lot of what this article said. Basically, it talked about how even when an employee is not at work and or off the company premises, they are basically still held to certain standards, which I think is good, because even if you are not working, you are still a representative of that company, and what you do or say does and can and does reflect who you work for. It did talk about things like even when you're traveling for work, how certain behaviors will not be tolerated, such as sexual harassment. It did talk about arrest in there, and as we've talked about before, like social media postings, how those things can affect your employment, or even potential employment somewhere. So all three of the articles I thought were very interesting. Not a whole lot of very surprising information, just because we've talked about a few different things before, but all very relevant to the workforce today, and even the upcoming workforce for the new generation. All right, thank you.